Okay, so now we see here that our box is having 1 meter in length, 1 meter in width, and 1 meter in height. So if I change my display units to centimeters, you see that it's exactly the same size, nothing changed, only the display units changed from meters to centimeters. So everything stayed the same. Also my system unit setup stayed the same, only the representation in here, which you can actually see, changed. So you can change this to any units you want, also to millimeters, which would be represented like this, and also to even kilometers. Just of course it doesn't make sense, but just for you to see that the translation is being handled automatically, and our system units are still having millimeters. So for max, since this is 1 meter to 1 meter to 1 meter, means that this box has 1000 to 1000 to 1000 units. And this you can know if you set exactly the same units as you have in the system units. You see that this is 1000, 1000, 1000. So you can tell that Max is also perceiving this specific box as 1000 units, 1000 units, 1000 units, right? So this is actually all that it takes to set your units properly. Let me actually open the scenes where I'm comparing on the model various units in order for you to see also moving around in the viewport and how to be importing between the files in order to keep proper units still and not scaled up and down. So yes, just give me 1 second. Okay, so here we are, and this is the first time you are meeting Fat Tony. Actually, you are going to be seeing a lot of him, so I will just move on. Okay, so what I want to show you is the difference between the units when you are using millimeters, centimeters, and meters. So now, as you can see, my file is also called by millimeters, but let me just check if it's for sure set like this. So my system units are millimeters, and I'm previewing in millimeters because this is how I used to work. So I'm going to keep it in here. So as you can see, and I'm going to be rotating around, you see it's pretty fluent. And when I'm zooming in and out, you see that I'm actually able to go quite close, almost to the vertex level. So this is actually really good for the scale that I'm having. And for you to know how big the Fat Tony actually is, I can create just a very fast box, and he is approximately something like half meter high, right? So more or less. So this is half meter big model, and you see that in millimeters the movement around it's really good. So I can even, if I select some vertices, you can go actually really close and zoom in to this type of detail and have it like this. I selected by mistake also back faces, but you can actually really zoom in and even rotate around. So the navigation, it's really good in millimeters in this type of scale. I have opened a centimeter scene, which I let the grid to be visible on purpose, because you see here that the grid is actually staying the same. It's having the same proportions. Just I let it there for you to see the difference, right? So this is actually 10 times bigger because it's in centimeters. Let me again just make sure that everything is correct. So I'm having centimeters. And if I do the same testing in here, you can see it's quite difficult to recognize it, but the steps between are quite bigger, and it's not that easy anymore to go super close to detail, because after some point you are just going to be jumping through your zooming in and zooming out, right? So if I do the same thing in the millimeters, you are able to go actually bit closer to your detail, right? So I can go almost almost to just 1 point. And you cannot do this in centimeters, right? Because it's ignoring these steps. So this is one very big difference in the units that you are using. And to see this even being affected even more, if you go to meters, you see again how the grid is. So actually the proportions. And you see here that when I'm zooming, it's actually jumping much in huge steps, because simply this is half of the meter. So that means that when I am having my scene set to meters, this is not even 1 unit size, right? So this is like half of the unit big. So this is why the step is also bigger. So because meters are not dedicated for this type of detail, but for much bigger scales and scenes.